Hello everybody, it is I, Captain Oblivious Mist, and today we're going to be doing the complete history of the Adriatic. That's right, we've done it, we're on part 5 of the Oceanic class. I never thought we would make it this far, but we are making it this far. In fact, as I'm recording this intro, I just uploaded part 4. Yeah, I am. No rest for me. Anyways, so without any further ado and enough blabbering on, let's get into the video.
As this is the 5th part of my Oceanic class series, I'll try to keep this part brief. As in the 1860s, an all but defunct shipping line was bought by a man named Thomas Ismay, but there was one tiny thing stopping him from generating a profit from this company. What was this thing, I hear you ask? Well, this thing was that he had no ships, but thankfully, after a game of billiards, this problem would be solved for Ismay, as he met a man called Gustav Schwab, offered to finance the White Star Line, and the next thing Ismay knew, he had a class of 4 ships. These ships were the Oceanic, the Atlantic, the Baltic, and Republic. And these ships would prove to be popular. So popular, in fact, that Ismay decided to order 2 more ships for the Oceanic class, which brings us to the subject of this video, as the subject of this video is the 5th ship in the Oceanic class, to be called the Adriatic. Design-wise, she was to look like her older sisters. Oh no, who would have thought? But she was to receive something quite new and revolutionary. This was a gas lamp, but it did not last long on the Adriatic due to some problems that arose down the line with her pipes. Now, as for the method of propulsion, similar to her sisters, she was to be powered by a steam engine, and as a backup in case something went wrong with her engines, she'd have sails. Now, as for her construction, this went without event, and she was launched on the 17th of October 1871. By the 31st of March 1872, she was ready for her maiden voyage. Her career started on the 11th of April 1872, when she left for her maiden voyage, which went without event, and upon her arrival, she would be the flagship of the White Star Line, all the way up until the Britannic entered service in 1874, and as for the career of the Adriatic, it was pretty eventful, as a month after her maiden voyage, the Adriatic was able to win the Blue Riband from the Scotia of the Cunard Line. Then, in January of 1873, the Adriatic rescued the crew of a Norwegian bark, but unfortunately for the Adriatic, her career wasn't all peaceful, as she had a collision with the Cunard's Parthia in 1874, causing little damage to either ship. But she wouldn't be as lucky in 1875 as the Adriatic accidentally rammed a British schooner called the Columbus, sinking her, and taking the life of the Columbus's captain's son. This, as well as the fact that the Adriatic failed to save the 7 survivors, and it was in fact rescued by another steamship called the Enterprise, led to the Adriatic being blamed for the accident. But this was not the final time that the Adriatic would accidentally sink a ship and kill somebody. In December of 1875, the Adriatic collided with the Harvest Queen, sinking her, taking all souls with her. Then, this next one is pretty funny and has me wondering if the Adriatic was a psycho of a ship, as on the 19th of July 1878, the Adriatic collided with a ship on the coast of Holyhead. Then, on the exact same day, she collided with another ship called the G.A. Pike, sinking her, taking the lives of 5 of her crew members. Then, in 1884, the ship Adriatic, went for a refit, which saw the addition of an extra 50-odd third-class accommodations. Then, in 1889, the Adriatic collided with a pier in New York. But thankfully for literally anything in the water, in 1897 she'd aged to a point where she was deemed too old for regular transatlantic service, and was thus used as a reserve ship. But then, in 1899, the final nail was hammered into the Adriatic's coffin in the form of the Second Oceanic. This meant there was no longer any use for the Adriatic, leading her to be sold off and broken up for scrap, bringing an end to an ocean liner that has probably sunk more tons of shipping than some battleships.